Metal up your... Metallica is the biggest metal band of all time. That is, until my band Obliteration Nation hits the scene. They've been around since 1981 and have been rightfully kicking ass from that point on, covering many different subgenres of hard rock and heavy metal. They are one of my most favorite heavy metal bands of all time, and even though they have, monthly listeners, there are still some seriously overlooked tracks. Don't get me wrong, all these songs have millions of listens, but it is still great to make a playlist of underrated tracks for new fans and old fans alike. Welcome to the Metallica family. This is the most underrated and underappreciated Metallica songs. Yeah! To start it all, the album that started it all, 1983's Kill 'Em All. Songs that we all know and are still live staples to this very day are Hit the Lights, The Four Horsemen, and Seek and Destroy. The song that I feel never got enough love was Phantom Lord. One of the songs Metallica, shall we say, recycled from Dave Mustaine's previous work with the band, and it's one of my favorites from that bunch. With a punchy and straightforward main riff, this song has you energized from the very start. Talking about leather and all things metal, it's really surprising how this song went under the radar for so long. This is the only song on Kill 'Em All to have a melodic interlude reminiscent of future ballads to come. Another quick pick is Metal Militia, which is a precursor to a fan favorite, Spit Out the Bone, from the most recent record, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Moving on to the sophomore classic, 1984's Ride the Lightning. The songs we all know are For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, and Creeping Death. The song I chose, or shall I say songs I chose, are Escape and Trapped Under Ice. This is a toughie because both songs are worthy, but for completely different reasons. Trapped Under Ice, which is a thrash-tastic barrage ironically trapped under more popular songs, and Escape, which has been publicly hated by every member of the band. Escape may be hated by the band, which is what gave it its original stigma of being a bad song, but the fans have rectified the situation and made it an absolute cult hit. Therefore, the most underrated track on Ride the Lightning is Trapped Under Ice. Awesome riffs with blistering solos and blisteringly cold lyrics. This is a great addition to any playlist. Now, what many may consider to be the greatest heavy metal record of all time, 1986's Master of Puppets. The songs that have been making people bang their heads till they bleed are Battery, Master of Puppets, and Welcome Home, Sanitarium. The song that has painfully gone under the radar is Damage Incorporated. Damage Inc. deserves to be on the upper echelon of Metallica songs, but sadly there's only so much room on the top. Starting with a really mysterious sounding introduction that hits you and gives you one last swing at the dome to remind you that this is one of the greatest heavy metal records of all time. Seriously fast playing, everyone is pumping at all cylinders. Insane rhythmic riffing with fierce vocals and sharp whispered portions saying what else but Damage Incorporated. This is yet another amazing Metallica song, and it has one of my most favorite catchphrases too, when they say, "Go!" and then hit you with a face-melting solo. You gotta love it. Next is the technical masterpiece, 1988's And Justice for All. The songs that push Metallica farther into the mainstream were Blackened, And Justice for All, and One. Blackened being my personal favorite Metallica song of all time. Although the song that deserves more attention is To Live Is To Die. This song is a tribute to the late bassist Cliff Burton. Rest in peace. It's always difficult for an instrumental to gain attention because it lacks the vocals that most popular songs have. This song takes you on a journey and demands your attention. This 10-minute long epic brings you right back to the moment in which the band wrote it. The emotion is very real, and you can feel the true anger and sadness when writing it. If you have not heard this song, please listen to it. I feel as if it's mandatory for any Metallica fan. If you existed in the 1990s, then you know what this one is. 1991's Metallica, or more widely known as the Black Album. The songs that have been played so many goddamn times are Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, and Nothing Else Matters. On such a popular album, how can you have a song that's underrated? Well, here it is, The Struggle Within. Insanely underplayed, the least popular song on the Black Album, and by a wide margin. And this one's one of my favorites. What the hell? Kick-ass riff with radio-friendly sound kicked up to 11. Super hard-hitting solos, it's a worthy cap to end off their most popular record. Catchy as hell, and hey, it's another GO song. I'm struggling to see why people haven't heard more of this song. Okay, here's where all the old fans went to die. 1996's Load. The most popular songs on Load are Until It Sleeps, King Nothing, and Hero of the Day. This album is incredibly tricky because there's 14 tracks, which means all the non-hits have very similar statistics. So I'll be picking a few songs and giving you one final song as the most underrated. Shout out to Wasting My Hate for kicking down the door and not giving a single shit. This song I would put under the if you like Metallica you should probably listen to this song category. Next is The Outlaw Torn. No doubt the most popular of the 3 songs that I'll be choosing today, but it is a lot less popular than the other fat loads of this record. But is it so far behind that it's underrated? I don't think so. It's an amazing song, and also incredibly long as well, which is what I love. So long, in fact, that they actually had to cut it down because they couldn't fit the entire thing on a CD. It's an underrated classic, but it did appear on both S&M records, so it can't be that underrated. Now, finally, the song that I believe is the most underrated on Load. I might get some flack for this, but I'm choosing Cure. This song is totally overlooked. It isn't the greatest thing they've ever made, but it's simple, it's catchy, and James's vocals are amazing in this song. If we're talking about truly underrated Metallica songs, I'll be betting on the Cure! That was so fucking lame. Doubling down on the Load sound, we have 1997's Reload. The songs that gave us what we desired were Fuel, The Memory Remains, and The Unforgiven 2. The song that I chose to be the most underrated is Where the Wild Things Are. Okay, this one is weird because most of you were probably expecting me to say Fixer. And that's exactly my point. For the average Metallica fan, definitely listen to Fixer. It's a great track and you should check it out. But for the diehard fans, Fixer is the Loch Ness Monster of songs. It's never been played live and it's only spoken of in legend. It's so popular amongst the superfan community that I think it's time for this other gem to have its time in the light. Where the Wild Things Are is the weirdest Metallica song ever released. That isn't on fucking Lulu. It sounds almost nothing like a Metallica song, and that's why I love it. It's ambient, it's experimental, and overall, it's a jam and a half. Most definitely worth a listen. Now it's time for a return to metal? 2003's Saint Anger. The most popular songs from Saint Anger are Frantic, Saint Anger, and Some Kind of Monster. The song that I chose for most underrated is Sweet Amber. Somewhat of a diamond in the rough, except it's the roughest of the rough. Sweet Amber is fast, chuggy, and hits you right in that sweet spot. Saint Anger, the album, has many moments that kick your ass and leave you wanting so much more, but sadly, it's crushed by not so great editing and very painful repetition. With a kick-ass intro riff and a reference to One, for Saint Anger's sake, it's an underrated track. Now, a true return to metal, 2008's Death Magnetic. The songs that rinsed our mouth clean were The Day That Never Comes, All Nightmare Long, and Unforgiven 3. The underrated track on this record is The Judas Kiss. One of my all-time favorites growing up, and now I'm finding out that not many people have listened to it? What the hell? I can't do that joke again. Another 8-minute epic to slap on top of all the rest. This song has some gnarly riffs and an insanely catchy chorus, with some solos forcefully pounded on top. This is not one you're going to want to miss. And now the most recent record, 2016's Hardwired to Self-Destruct. The songs that quite literally blew up were Hardwired, Spit Out the Bone, and Spit Out the Bone, and Spit Out the Bone, and Spit Out... The songs that left us air guitaring as hard as we could were Hardwired, Moth into Flame, and Spit Out the Bone. You could basically put the entire second half of this record as underrated, with misunderstood songs like Man Unkind and Am I Savage, but the song you should have never questioned in the first place is Here Comes Revenge. Just badass. The main riff is impossible not to groove to. The weird percussion is actually very effective, and the whole song in general needs some revenge and needs some more listens. That's it! Every Metallica song that I believe needs more attention. If you already know all these songs and you love them the same way I do, then you rock. For everyone else, put some headphones on and study up. Don't forget to subscribe to Flash Rewind to spread some metal knowledge. Metal up your ass, and metal up my ass too.